everyone, this is World Cricket Chat and I'm Shruti Chopra, your tarot reader, along with our super cricket analyst, Suneer Chowdhary. Hi Suneer.
Hi Shruti, we're doing things a little differently today. We're previewing the three one-day internationals between Zimbabwe and India in one podcast. It will be sort of a condensed version for our listeners.
You know, Suneer, when I think of Zimbabwe, I have these traumatic memories of India losing to Zimbabwe in the '99 World Cup game. But since then, Zimbabwe have had many tough cricketing years. Their ICC ODI ranking of 11th and a T20 ranking of 12th says it all. What do you make of the Zimbabwean side?
That's correct. First of all, those memories have been etched in the minds of a lot of Indian fans, most of Indian fans, in fact. But when you talk about their rankings, they're behind Afghanistan in the ODI rankings and behind both Afghanistan and Netherlands in T20 cricket. The sense that one gets from Zimbabwean cricket is that they're always in this state of turmoil and upheaval, and most of it has to do with issues off the field. Of course, that's not to say that their performances on the field have been great, as they have been pulverized by most opponents over the years across all three formats. Look at their ODI record, for instance, in recent times. Barring a 2-1 series win against Ireland, Zimbabwe have lost 2 series to Afghanistan, 1 to Bangladesh, twice to Pakistan, New Zealand, India, Australia, all over the last 18 months or so. There was another 5-0 pounding at the hands of Bangladesh in 2014-15. And in fact, Bangladesh have been the only test playing nation they have beaten since 2000-2001. Yes, that's right. That's 16 years since their previous ODI series win against a full member nation apart from Bangladesh, and they had beaten New Zealand in the series. Since then, they have been virtually drawing blanks. It doesn't bode well for the series for them.
Then what bodes well? I mean, what can we expect out of this side?
Well, the onus will be on their new captain-coach combination after Hamilton Mazakaza and Dav Watmore were fired from their respective jobs leading into the series. Leg spinner Graham Kramer and former South African fast bowler Makhaya Antony will take over those roles, but more than who leads them, they need the senior batsmen and bowlers to guide the rest of the team through a potential stagnancy that they are facing. Mazakaza and Vusi Sabanda at the top, Sikandar Raza and Sean Williams in the middle, and then there are the likes of Kramer himself and Dandai Chatara with the ball. There's one other bowler I'm really interested in watching, and that's left arm spinner Wellington Mazakaza, who is one of the 3 Mazakaza brothers, in fact, had a decent time during the World T20 earlier this year, and over the 10 ODIs that he has played, he averages just 25 with the ball and concedes runs at 4.26 and over. His battles against the inexperienced Indian batsmen should make for an interesting watch if he gets selected. From your perspective, Shruti, will Zimbabwe throw up any surprises?
Well, I actually think they should. Zimbabwe will look to take on the challenge and will make good inroads into disbalancing India. They will be testing waters, they will be looking to just experiment, but they will also be looking to win. So expect them to come out strong. Now, this all sounds very ideal, and for a part of it, it will be. But Zimbabwe are still a developing team, so the enthusiasm may wear off and realism will set in. Challenges will be plentiful. By the time they get to the end of the ODI series, they will appear emotional and irrational too. I mean, at least for the last game or so. They should bat fairly well in the first 2 games, but not so in the third. And they should bowl well in game 1 and 3. Moving on to the Indian side, it would be tough to gain anything for them out of a tour like this, when you're anyway expected to win everything.
Yes, the last time India toured Zimbabwe, they were led by Ajinkya Rahane with almost every frontline player rested from the series. This time, MS Dhoni is the captain, while the other part of the story remains the same. Almost every other major player from the side has been allowed a break. I find this quite interesting in many ways. One, it obviously gives the youngsters a chance to learn from their very experienced skipper Dhoni, but also as a pointer towards what the captain himself thinks of his future, having opted out of a break from this series. As has often been the selector strategy, they have used the series to try out a few players and give some others a chance to make a comeback to the team even when the main guys are back. At the very least, it allows the selectors the benefit of having a pool of players they can probably look to tap into in case of player injuries and form issues, Shruti.
Okay, Suneer, give me one Indian batsman and bowler you're particularly looking forward to watching on this tour.
Interestingly, the selectors have named a common team for both the ODIs and T20s, a total of 16 players for the two series. I wonder if everyone will even get an opportunity to feature in these six matches that are scheduled, especially given that Captain Dhoni is known to be happy not to fiddle around too much with his playing 11s. If I have to name just one batsman and one bowler, as you have asked me to go ahead with, I'll go with Manish Pandey and Yuzvendra Chahal. In the limited opportunities that Pandey has got with India, Pandey has shown enough spark and promise to suggest that he could go on to become an Indian ODI regular. Chahal, on the other hand, gives the national side a wrist spinning option apart from Amit Mishra. And I might be pushing the envelope a tad here, but who knows? India might even consider him playing in the test team for home games over the next 18 months or so, where India play a lot of matches at home. This isn't India's regular side, and Dhoni has been set a challenge to make his team work. Does Taro see Dhoni and India managing this?
Well, India have lots of adjusting to do. It will take them some time to adapt themselves to not just the conditions but to each other as well, which is why I feel their toughest game should be their first one. There could be a reluctancy on how they start off, and this could create anxieties for the remaining two games. This series won't be a walk in the park, some real application will be required. Their batting may seem troubled throughout the series. It will need rescuing on most occasions, whereas bowling should improve as the game goes on.
And what about Dhoni?
Yes, actually, it would be unfair to not specifically look into the cards for him. For these ODIs in particular, Dhoni will find himself tested and will end up feeling quite restricted with how much he's able to extract from this young side. His stresses will be evident, but with the sort of support that he will receive from management, he will relish the challenge and will end up being a great teacher to his team. Now, on to the forecasting part. Which team are you picking?
I think something would be really amiss if India do not win the ODI series 3-0. But the T20s could see Zimbabwe win a game if the visitors are not very careful. I'm also not privy to the playing 11 that Dhoni opts for, but if Chahal does get the nod, he could finish the series as a top Indian wicket taker. What's your call, Shruti?
Well, India will win the series, but there may be some awkward moments for India in one game, which does indicate some good chances for Zimbabwe to win or even get close to winning.
Well, interesting call that, but that's all we have for today. We'll be back for some more podcasts with some more cricket very soon. Don't miss out. Do subscribe. Bye bye.